Hello, hello, and welcome back to Temptations Ballad. It seems that, Cole's having a good time, right? A loud bang from downstairs shook the entire Bonebreaker Guild building. Tavern. Cole let out a scream and nearly fell off his hammock bed. His heart thumped against his chest at a mile a minute as his eyes darted through his surroundings in a panic. It was just a dream. Just a dream. A rather unpleasant dream, but a dream nevertheless. Cole took a deep breath to recollect himself. Maybe he shouldn't have drunk so many ales with Papa last night. Another sharp bang echoed through the entire building and shook Cole in his hammock. Papa must be sparring with another mercenary man in the training room again. Did they have to do this so early in the morning? Cole let out a yawn and scratched his dazed head. Time to drag himself through another day, he supposed. Huh? Cole blinked and let out a yelp at the sensation of something slithering on his lap. Friend? Okay. I mean, he's got a little puppy face, so he must be a friend. The small ball python that laid curled up on his lap looked up at him expectantly and let out a tiny hiss. Ah, I see you are finally awake, young mortal. Cole stared, and then stared a little more. This tiny snake was talking to him. The fuck are you? The ball python reared his head back, utterly offended. Puny mortal. You should feel honored to be graced by the great temptation demon, Malice. Bow before me, and show proper respect. I may still consider granting you my... Yeah. Cole yelled down the hall. Papa! A vermin got into the house again! From downstairs. Morrow let out a laugh and shouted through the thin walls of the building. Another one! Just squash it and throw it out the window. Wait, the poor thing isn't hurting anyone. Just scoop it up and with a cup and let it outside. Cole glanced down at the wiggling snake in his grasp with a shrug. Well, you heard Papa. Wait. Mercy! I beg mercy. You shouldn't dare harm one of the most powerful, someone as powerful and fearsome as I, would you? Cole hesitated before dropping the writhing python back onto his bed. You sure talk big for an itty-bitty little snake. Insolent mortal! I am simply weakened after being summoned into a material plane. Had I retained my true form, you would be shaking in your boots from my might. Cole squinted at the little screaming snake as he tried to wrap his head around the situation. You're a demon, or maybe just a delusion. How did you even get in my room? That is simple. I arrived through that ruby that you stole yesterday, you see. Cole immediately patted his pocket. Wait, where is the ruby anyway? Did you fucking eat it? You fool, I am the ruby. As though to demonstrate, the python curled up into a tiny ball. In a puff of smoke, he transformed into a small blood-red ruby. In another puff, why am I? Malice returned to his snake form with a flourishing grin, as though awaiting applause for his little trick. Cole groaned and massaged his temples with a grimace. I just want to bring home a pretty gem as a gift for Papa. Now I gotta deal with a pest problem? Any chance I can separate you from the ruby, like with a knife? Malice immediately recoiled in horror. Wait! I am unconditionally connected to the ruby. You wouldn't want to break such valuable gem, would you, dear mortal? I don't know. You sound like more trouble than I'm willing to put up with. Wow, these mortals are a lot less fearful and groveling than my brother made them out to be. Wait a second. If you're a tiny demon snake living in my ruby, does that mean that the other 3 rubies have little snakes in them too? How dare you! I am not a little snake! I am a great and powerful temptation demon, Malice! Yeah, you don't look like a Malice. I think I'm just gonna call you Noodle, or something. The python let out a melodramatic wail. How dare you degrade me with such a cute nickname? This wasn't my first interaction with a mortal was supposed to go. My first okay. You were supposed to grovel at my feet and worship the very air I breathe. Cole stared at the snake incredulously. Feet? I had feet before I left the infernal plane, okay? As much as it pains me to admit, I am only so tiny and weakened because I am the youngest of my siblings. This is my first trip to the mortal plane. I suppose my inexperience has left me in this sorry state. Thank goodness we got separated. If my siblings saw me like this, I'd never hear the end of it. Cole scratched his chin thoughtfully. Why would Prince Cassius order a crown with 4 demons in it? Things are starting to get a little fishy. You and your demon pals better not be planning to cause trouble. Malice's head drooped onto the hammock with embarrassment. Well, I'm afraid I was a little too excited to travel to the material plane for the first time and didn't really pay attention when my siblings were explaining the mission. Oh, great. Do not mock me. I remember a few things at the very least. We are to infiltrate the snooty city and absorb negative emotions from you puny mortals. Your emotions will feed us and become a wondrous source of infernal energy. Speaking of which, you, tiny mortal, you will form a pact with me. As a temptation demon, I conflicted a mess of a person like you will make a perfect host for me. With you at my beck and call, I shall return to my true form in no time. No thanks. I don't deal with shady talking noodles. But I can grant you power, fame, glory. You wish to gain the approval of your father, do you not? With my help. Yeah, I don't think Papa would be very impressed if I grew strong from demonic power. Magic. Anyway, time to squash you. Please tell me you turn back into the ruby after you die. I was hoping to pawn a decent price off that gem. Cole reached for a nearby butter knife. Wait! Malice immediately shrieked, and his eyes flashed a glinting red. Acritic wisps of infernal magic shoot across the room. Cole winced as a flicker of heat reverberated through his chest. It felt as though he had been smacked with a hot bottle of water. The hell was that? We are now connected, puny mortal. Any harm or sensation one of us feels, the other shall feel as well, and that includes pain. You shan't get rid of me so easily. Cole scowled and gave the snake an experimental pinch. Sure enough, he felt a light pinch squeeze in his own shoulder. He let out a frustrated groan and fell back onto his hammock. Ah, Talk about a raw deal. I wanted a gem, not a snake babysitting job. You are stuck with me forever now. Rest assured. Sooner or later, I shall tempt you into a contract with me. Just you wait. A sharp chime suddenly echoed outside, ringing throughout the entire city. As usual, the Axia clock tower struck on the hour as the city's public timekeeping system. Cole counted the number of chimes and nearly leapt out of his bed in sudden realization. It's 9 o'clock already? I was supposed to meet up with Sid at the town square. Damn it. Why did you have to prattle on for so long? Ah, you have places to be. Excellent. I have always wanted to explore the material plane, in all its exciting riches. You will make an exciting host and tour guide, puny mortal. Cole yelped as the python casually slithered into his belt pocket. Wow, it's super roomy in here. Don't just slide into other people's pants without asking. You can't tell me what to do, puny mortal. Now, to the town square, post haste! Cole groaned from what felt like the umpteenth time that morning as he dragged himself out of bed. What a bossy little shit. Well, that was a cute morning. Okay. So Sid is still in the market district. Okay. The morning sun felt pleasantly warm against his fur as Cole leisurely strolled across the city of Axia. His new snake companion was enthusiastically chatty as he rode on Cole's shoulder, asking questions about everything it saw. It truly felt as though he was leading an awestruck tourist through the town as he not so patiently answered each of the little python's inquiries. Their conversation trailed somewhere along the line of, yes, that's a restaurant. People eat food there. Have you ever eaten before? Yeah, people need to eat food and drink water to not drop dead. No, I've never died before. How the fuck do you think I'm still standing here? As the two of them rounded a corner to the village proper, Malice marveled at the crowd of villagers strolling through the streets. Look at all these mortals rushing about their lives. You all must be in such a panic to savor what little time you have, unlike us greater demons. How long is your lifespan? 5 years? Maybe 6 if you exercise? Cole snorts and playfully pocketed the snake. Poked the snake on the nose. You really have no idea how mortals work, do you? I told you this was my first time visiting the material plane. Everything here is so new and exciting. The infernal plane is just a mess of pure chaos and emotion that spills over to from your world. It's not exactly much to look at. Just an eternity of stuff. Everything in the mortal world moves so fast in comparison. The people of the mortal world are always in such a rush. Malice blinked and gestured across the street. Like that one over there! Look at her dashing about in such a stress-filled panic. I must admire you mortals for making the most of what short lives you have. Cole squinted at the familiar dashing individual in question. A familiar knight was rushing from door to door of every shop, begging for the attention of anyone who would listen. Their stance was haggard, and they looked utterly exhausted. They clearly have been at this for a long time. The knight looked up and made eye contact with Cole from across the street. Cole? Oh, knighty. How's it going? Cole paused. Wow, you look like shit. What a good greeting. Artemi grimaced and rubbed her temples warily. Good morning to you as well, Cole. Forgive my appearance. I'm afraid I have been up all night performing my tasks. Night? It's like 9 o'clock now. Dazed, Artemia glanced at the sky in surprise, as though just realizing it was daytime. Upon closer inspection, Artemia looked like an utter, overworked mess. There was dark bags of fatigue under her eyes, and her hair was unkempt and messy. She stood slightly hunched over in a worry-drained expression that received little to no sleep. It was surprising that she was still lucid in such a state. Artemi cleared her throat. Cole suddenly realized he was staring and awkwardly averted his gaze. The tension from their little argument yesterday still hung in the air, as they each waited for the other to speak. Listen. Do you want to go grab some tea with me? I know a pretty good cafe here. I'm afraid I must decline. My duties remain unfinished, and I have much to answer for, especially due to my failures yesterday. Come on. You're not gonna get anything done when you're an exhausted mess like this. A little rest does wonders for your mind. Artemi's tense shoulders slumped slightly with a hint of a hesitation. But hey, if you don't manage to finish your duties when you're wide awake, you sure ain't gonna finish them when you're half dead. Come on, it'll be my treat. I still owe you for saving my ass. Yesterday at the fighting ring. Finally, Artemi let out a sigh and nodded. I suppose it would be rude of me to decline. Thank you, Sir Cole. Town Square had a number of exciting outdoor cafes, each of them filled with a jolly cooperation company and fresh steaming tea. The customers around them were sneaking the occasional glance at Artemi and whispering among themselves. Perhaps it was unwise for the Creator's Chosen to make such a casual appearance. Artemi had never been at a cafe before, and shuffled awkwardly in her seat. Cole had to patiently explain to her the multiple times that no, you don't have to get up and bow at the waiter every time she comes to fill your tea. Artemi sank down into her chair and opted to bury her face in her teacup to avoid eye contact with all the chuckling cafe-goers around her. Anyway, that is why I have been up and about all night since our departure at the fighting ring. His Highness has requested that I focus my efforts in retrieving the 4 missing rubies of his crown. And the Bishop of the Grand Cathedral insisted that failure was not an option, lest I lose my title as the Creator's Chosen. Cole nearly snorted piping hot tea up his nose. What? She threatened to demote you over a handful of jewelry. The prince is fucking rich, for crying out loud. A few gems is like nothing to him. Watch your language, Cole. It is a matter of honor. The Creator's Chosen cannot be expected to lead the church if my history is stained with failure. I'm surprised the church would be so harsh with you. I always imagined the Creator's Chosen would be a bit more pampered and spoiled. A hint of guilt weighed over Cole's shoulder as he finished his tea. Tell you what, why don't me and Sid help you out on this mission of yours? The two of us need more adventuring work anyhow. Plus, you'd have the entire Bonebreaker mercenary behind you. My papa and whatever. Hamish knows his way around the city, like the back of his hand. He's got a lot of connections, both shady and official. His network's gonna have an easier time tracking down your rubies than you running around like a headless chicken. I suppose you have a point. Artemi stares at him hesitantly. It would be unwise for me to look a gift horse in the mouth, but why are you willing to aid me? Yesterday you gave off a rather aloof outlook. Well, I guess I feel a little guilty. Not that it's my fault or anything. You're the one who fucked up. But I'm happy to help you out, since I'm just a nice person. I feel that, Cole. I feel that. Artemi looked utterly unimpressed. Cole cleared his throat and quickly changed the subject. Anyway, why isn't the church providing you with more support on your mission? Don't you have any friends at the cathedral you could ask for help? Artemi's shoulders slumped as she frowned at her teacup. I never managed to make many friends at home. Everyone in the cathedral seems to keep their distance from me. Even all the townsfolk I spoke with this morning seem a little nervous in my presence. Am I doing something wrong? Cole rolled his eyes and signaled for a refill of his tea. I mean, you did barge into every establishment asking questions about missing rubies. Of course people are gonna get weirded out. Artemi's ears drooped self-consciously. That doesn't explain why people I grew up with in the church also feel wary of me. It sounds pretty normal. You're the creator's chosen, after all. People are saying you'll save the world from a horrible fate or whatever. Most people would want to stay away out of that nonsense. Does my title make me intimidating? Kinda. But you and Sir Sid certainly did not treat me as such when we met yesterday. Well, it's kinda hard to be intimidated by a hyperventilating whelp on a jail cell floor. Cole took another gulp of tea with a wistful expression. I certainly hope I do not have to be arrested every time I try to make friends. Yeah, okay. Don't worry about that. See, here's the thing. You're the creator's chosen one. You're all the way up here, right? Cole waves a hand above his head dramatically. The legendary hero destined to save the world or something. That's a pretty big deal. Everyone else lives down here. They're not worried about existential threats or world-saving nonsense. They're just normal city-going folks with jobs and family stuff to worry about. Artemi frowns and shuffled in her seat, feeling self-conscious. Well, that's not very different from my own daily life. Exactly. Sometimes it's hard for people to remember you're a normal nervous wreck just like everyone else. I suppose I see the logic in that, though I fail to see a way to change people's minds. Oh, that's easy. Fancy playing a card game? Oh, Cole. Oh, Cole. I'm always up for a card game. Artemi blinked in surprise as Cole pulled a deck of cards out of his loincloth and began shuffling it with an impressive flourish. I think I'm gonna end the part here, so I'll see you around, everyone.